Okay, I've hit the live button.
And it says it's live.
It says it's live.
By the way, I gotta say, this like upgrade in Restream looks beautiful.
Isn't it cool, dude? I'm really actually really stoked about it. It's cool, man.
Yeah,
like
quite the aesthetic.
For reference, just so everyone knows, this is what the show used to look like a week ago. Hang on, we'll do that, and then we'll do this boring ass background. That's what it looked like 2 weeks ago, I guess. But yeah, now we're really rolling with the cool
styling textured background. Yeah, that's wild, dude.
Isn't that neat? I'm so excited. I'm really excited. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is the pre-show. I think we're live now on most platforms. We'll see. It usually takes a second to like go live here on some of these, but I think we're good. I'm just giving a little check-see on my end. We had some issues with office hours and Twitch earlier this week. It kind of froze up after minute 7, and I was sitting here talking to myself the whole time.
Oh, no, that's awful.
So that was a good time. But yeah, hi everyone.
Funny.
It's the pre-show, man. Blake, dude, I missed you. It's been like 3 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks now.
4 weeks, really. Week. It's been a month.
Wow, geez.
Yeah, it's been a month since you and I have hung out, and just for everyone watching, like we hung out very little, just briefly before this. Like we kind of came on and said, okay, let's go live.
Let's do it. Yep.
So this is my first time talking to Blake in a while.
It's been a long time. The last time before you went on holiday for the trip you went on, I didn't even know how the trip went. Was it good?
Yes, it was very good. Since you and I last spoke, I have now put in an application for a new apartment in another part of the world.
Nice.
Another part of the country. We'll say country.
Are you moving to Poland?
Not moving to Poland. No. So that's fun. I'm not saying where just quite yet publicly, but it'll be a good time. It was a great trip. Had a lot of fun. I actually talked about it on last week's show. I had a mishap with my old fitness tracker, and
oh no,
like on my trip, right?
What happened?
I think I went swimming and it was just 1 year too old or something, and the screen blacked out and didn't come back on. So I was like, shoot, I need a fitness tracker. So I ordered one on Amazon, and I was able to push it to a locker nearby where we were at, and I went to go pick it up the next day. It was kind of crazy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Far away from home, and
the beauty of Amazon, I guess.
Yeah, it was really neat, man.
That's pretty sick, dude. You can't get any better than that. Break something and just get it on holiday.
We're living in the future.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What's your one more thing for this week, dude? We'll start there because I don't want to jump the gun and talk about something that you're going to talk about later.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have 2 things in mind. Do I say them out loud, or I just need to type them in there?
No, you can say them out loud. I just want to make sure that I'm not like jumping into one more thing territory.
Oh no, you're not. So I'm going to talk about. It's funny. I've never really been super, or I don't know how to say this without getting myself in trouble. So I'm gonna backpedal a little bit.
Okay,
I'm really super thrilled with Design Lab's take on Mental Health Month, and I've had to have a couple of interesting conversations around how to game plan helping students during tough times, and it's been fun to go through that with my leads that I've never interacted with before, but due to organizational changes, I have a lot more access to the actual company. So it's been really just awesome to get to know them. But Mental Health Month and Design Lab has been awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And have you read Google's AI Playbook for UX designers? Have you seen any of that?
Feel like I've seen or heard something about that.
I don't know. I just want to during the show so that it's recorded, I want to throw that out there because I stumbled upon it 2 nights ago when I was taking one of their machine learning courses. And I was like, geez, where's this thing been? Or how long has this been out here? And I've never seen it or never thought about how I could apply it in stuff that I do or spark new ideas. So it's just another resource for the community I want to throw out there.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's talk about it. So if you're hanging out with us, thank you. Appreciate you checking out us wherever you're checking us out on. We're on more platforms now, Blake, since we've paid for the upgraded version. We're now on Facebook, which is kind of cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I see that. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going through your Facebook too. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. I'm blasting it out to my friends to see who's watching, but also, yeah, it's through our group as well. So now if you're following us on Facebook, you can see it there. We're still working on the LinkedIn thing, so we'll see about that. I don't know if Periscope's going for whatever reason. You know what? I need to check that. I will. Let's see here.
That's funny. So for the LinkedIn thing, have we not hit their like requirements or whatever? Or we've not applied again?
I don't know, dude. We haven't. Well, so we're not up for re-application yet. We will certainly.
Well, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, well, it's soon. We can apply again soon. So we will. We'll keep everyone posted. Maybe you'll see us on LinkedIn at some point. Oh no, we're live on Periscope. I just don't know why it's not showing here on Restream.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it doesn't give you more than just the 4.
I don't know, man. It's just showing me status on 4 of them. So we'll see.
Party.
Yeah. Hey, pre-show. Yeah. Again, thank you for hanging out with us and spending your time. I think it's incredibly generous of you to sit here and hang out with us. I think it's thank you. Means a lot to us here at the show and at Human Factors Cast. I think I speak for Blake and everyone here, which hint, hint. That'll be an announcement for the show. Let's see here.
Are we good on Reddit stories?
No, we're not.
I actually need to turn on Audacity. I have not done a podcast in 4 weeks. I don't know how to do it anymore. All right, let's do that.
By the way, man, you and Elise killed it with that exoskeleton episode. Great job to both of you.
That was a fun one. Okay, cool. And the sound works. This is just a fun time. Yeah, I enjoyed talking exoskeletons with her a little bit.
Let's see. I need to make sure my Audacity is good. We'll see.
All right, I'm going to try and blurb my way through this.
Yeah, blurb it. Yeah, so I need to pick out some Reddit posts, don't I?
That would be awesome.
Let me check our Patreon to see if any of our patrons wrote into the show.
That would be cool for a comeback.
Something a little different next week. I'm going to ask them questions and see if that drives some engagement. If not, it's okay if no one engages. It's literally just a place to like AMA whenever. And I
AMA
do it
all
on a
day,
weekly basis. Yeah. Let's see here. Posts. We'll do. I don't think so, but we'll see. Our patrons got an announcement and a sneak peek a little early this week. So that was kind of fun. They got a little something we'll announce on the show tonight, but they got to see it first. No, nothing from Patreon this week. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read out some stuff. You're going to tell me whether or not that is satisfactory or not for the purposes of the It Came From section.
All right, go for it.
I got some fun surprises for Blake on the show tonight too. You guys.
Oh, great.
No. They're good surprises. They're not like, they're not going to put you on the spot. Don't worry.
I'm not worried. It'll be fine. It'll be funny.
I highly doubt it would be fine if I put you on the spot for some things.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Don't worry. Right. No big surprises. Let's see here. So, no, I'm looking for this. Okay.
Okay, cool. I love it.
Cool.
Looking good. That's enough. I really like these questions that were put in here down here.
Oh, you like some? Well, I was going to look because I looked last night.
I was talking about below the blurb.
I know.
Basically just help me tweak this thing.
Oh, that. Yeah. Those may be a weekly thing that we'll get for those questions. So yes, let's find answers to those and address them on the show.
Absolutely.
If you want to do that while I am looking for posts, we can do that. We can divide and conquer.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Cool. I can just for your awareness, Blake, I can talk about point 2 pretty pretty comfortably.
Yeah,
pretty comfortably.
Okay.
We'll just say that. 3 could use a little bit more detail, and 1 is kind of I could kind of talk about, but it'd be nice to have some prompts there. That's where I'm at with that stuff.
It's basically the crux of what we're doing here too, so that would be good.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so that I'm going to get rid of. Peace, my dudes. Okay, what up? All right.
So... Oh, shoot. You know what I didn't say is if you're watching this and live, hang with us. The show is going to start here in 20 minutes. If you're watching this later, we are doing 2 things. 1, you can find the full episode on YouTube without the pre and post show. I'm going to start doing that, Blake. I noticed that you did that for the for 205 with you and Elise. And I did that for 206 with me and Aaron. And I'm just going to, cut it down and paste the actual episode. I think there's benefit to doing that. So that way, if people just want to hear the episode, if they want to see all the bullshit that we do for the pre and post episode, they can do that too.
That's nice. Yeah. That way they get all the options. Yeah. That's pretty sick.
All right. I was looking for questions. I keep getting sidetracked.
That's all right. That happens.
I'm going to read some of these out as I find them. You tell me yay or nay.
Let's go.
Looking. Is it really that bad to stay at the same company for more than 2 years?
Oof. I hope not. That's an interesting question. I wonder what that's about. Cause like, if I don't know if your parents ever told you this, but my old man was really like harping on me early in my career. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't be a job hopper. And I don't know that's necessarily conventional logic anymore, but I don't think there's anything wrong with doing either one.
Yeah, it's weird.
The bad stuff.
I have complex feelings on that, I guess. Maybe we could talk about it.
If you have complex feelings about it, let's talk about it. Because that might be helpful for somebody who doesn't know what to think.
I mean,
or what to do.
This one specifically is from the UX industry, but I feel like it's probably applicable to us as well, especially in something like the defense industry, where things are largely contract based. Let's
good, bad, and the ugly. All right,
let's said you about that. So, oh shit, dude. I've been complaining about this on office hours for 2 weeks, but my mouse is just messing up on me left and right. It's like really awkward. So, for everyone here in our pre-show, you get a little treat because you get to see something that looks a little funny. I don't know. So, fun fact, this mouse is like 8 years old. It's a Razer Naga, like the first generation Razer Naga. It's the one with like, I don't know if I can't pull it up, but it has the 12 buttons on the side. Allows me to do things like presets and hotkeys and stuff. So I really love using it. And I did some research, and there's one of the buttons in here tends to have some static buildup. And so whenever I click, sometimes it'll double click, sometimes it won't register a click. And it's really frustrating to do, especially when I'm working or presenting. For work. And so what I end up having to do to discharge the static electricity is blow softly into the mouse, like with heated breath, so that way it discharges all this, like right, like that. I have to do that to the mouse. Now, I am on camera right now, and my mouse is just off camera, and this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna do this. So in the middle of a presentation, I did this once. Okay, are you watching? Here you go. So now I have a mouse that will hopefully only click one time. That's that
was the goal. One click mouse with a quick blow on. Oh. That's just too good. That's too good.
Yeah.
All right. Demonstrate time compression. There we go. Let's see if I can get a nice fat definition of time compression.
Speaking of time, we're about 15 minutes out from the show. Cool.
Okay, that's about the same definition. Great. Cool. All right. That's probably as good as it's going to get, kids. All right. How did we do it on it came from wherever?
Yeah. You know what? I think this one actually thematically goes with the one before. So stick with me. What if we did, is it really that bad to stay at the same company for more than 2 years as the first question? Thematically, we move into moving from one company to another. Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So I'm a level 1 at my current company, but I've been leading projects on my own. So yeah, we'll do that. That's thematically good. Are you good? Are you okay with that?
The more established design culture. Yeah, it's fine. We can talk.
All right.
We can get through it.
We can get through it. And then what about? I'll keep looking.
Sounds good. What has anyone ever changed their title to reflect what their role actually is at a company? Yeah, do that all the time. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of exhausted our little list there, hasn't it?
Almost.
Yeah, because I think we tackled this one live, this prototyping thing.
Oh yeah, why don't you go ahead and kill it?
Yep. Goodbye.
User research and analysis, decks or frameworks. Oh, interesting. Hold on. I'm going to read this one. Hang on. I was invited for a job interview I think I'm not qualified for. Could that be a mistake?
On just don't let them fool you. Yeah, that's an awesome question.
Hang on.
Is there more?
Hello there. I'm a new grad and had cold mailed a product manager at a tech company for an entry level product designer job. To my surprise, he sent me a design challenge link. However, after clicking the link, I think they were looking for someone with 4 years of experience. I clearly mentioned I had no corporate experience, but I took my chance and worked on the design challenge and submitted it. Now he said he wanted to take it forward and invited me for an interview. The design challenge clearly mentioned that they were looking for someone with 4 years experience. I obviously don't have that.
The design challenge mentions that? That's funny.
So what's happening here? Did they just not notice I was a new grad, or did he want to give me a chance before rejecting me?
No, it's just you're that awesome. Don't be so negative.
I kind of like that question. You want to do that one?
That's fantastic. Yes.
All right. I almost want to do that one first, because then it thematically moves into, hey, this is my first job at a grad school. Then is it really that bad to stay at the company for 2 years and then moving from company to company? How about that?
Perfect.
It's like somebody's like
the evolution
career.
of your job.
Yeah. It's wow. Look at that. We're actually putting together a career path for this person.
Right.
This
theoretical, it out.
This persona.
I love it. Here's the goal. Here's the way.
Yeah, I love it. This is the way.
Exactly.
So let me go ahead and write up some of these things here. I was invited for a job interview I think I'm not qualified for. Could that be a mistake?
Could that be a mistake? That's got to be a daunting situation, but such a good one too. She's like, all right, let's roll with the punches on this one. Figure it out. Love it.
2 years. And then the last one here is moving from one company to another.
Oh, come on.
Imposter syndrome.
You're having mouse problems. I'm having keyboard problems. I'm glad the blurb is done.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This predictive text is quite good.
Man, we got some people joining us tonight. Thank you for watching if you're on. Really appreciate the live audience. That makes this fun for us to do. If you're around, say hi in the chat. Love to hear from you. If you have any specific questions like these, we'll certainly elevate those above these. We love interacting with the folks that are watching us live as well. So let's see. Okay, so we have our... Okay, we have our... It came from... We have our one more thing. Is our show good? Like,
I think it's ready to go.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Dang, it's almost like we've been doing this for a while, and we're getting better and better at it every week still.
I feel like I haven't done it in like 2 years, and it's amazing that it didn't take as long as it normally does.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
That's pretty funny.
Let's see.
You know what's nuts? So I was going through my hard drive to make space because I have way too many videos.
Did you find anything like books?
No, I didn't. But you know what I found? I found that all of our like original green screen shots from from what do you call it? From doing the podcast in the office early on before Jeff edited it.
Yeah.
And to look at the screen right now and like the live setup, it's insane to think like how far we've come. Just the video setups come. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. I agree, man. Like it's
quite cool.
I think the evolution of the show, and I honestly I hesitate to say this before announcing anything or before anything's finalized, but I am incredibly excited about the future of Human Factors Cast and what we have like cooking up. Like I always allude to it. We have stuff in the back burner all the time. Some see the light of day, some do not. And I feel like we're about to have an explosion of ideas and stuff come out that are it's just going to be a good time. So I hope you all will stay tuned and see what's coming up, because I'll mention this on the show, but I'll reward everyone here who's here with us early. We just released a new piece this week that kind of jumped into a deeper dive on some of the stuff that Aaron and I talked about on the show last week. And, into the cave syndrome, right? I mean, we even go over things like what is cave syndrome and, a lot of the stuff that we talked about on the show, but there's a lot more there that wasn't on the show. That's more of a like I said, it's a deeper dive into like the human factors connection of cave syndrome and COVID-19 to the vaccinated people. Anyway, go read the piece. It's phenomenal. If I do say so myself. I didn't write it, but it's it's phenomenal.
Even better to say that you think it's phenomenal, right? It really was well written. It was a nice supplement to what you and Aaron talked about. And that's funny how much that concept, ever since you guys did that podcast, has come up in just daily life.
Yeah. Let me ask you. We still have a couple minutes here before the show. What do you think about cave syndrome? Are you fully vaccinated yet?
I'm not.
Okay.
Not. Yeah. So cave syndrome wise, though, I don't know what to make of it, because I think I always had very like introverted and hermit style habits anyway. Yeah. So it just made it more exacerbated for me. Now, in terms of, not wanting to go out, it doesn't really bother me to go out or not, or to go, meet people in public for work stuff or whatever I have to. I have preferences, but it's not like it feels debilitating or anything like that, which is nice, because I know that some people have had a really hard time transitioning back to whatever we want to call normal life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned it on the show last week, but I'm so conflicted about it because I'm ready to get back out there, but we have a small child and he's not vaccinated and probably won't be until CDC clears it okay for children his age. And it's just a matter of like when he ever ages up and the CDC, approved for vaccinations at his age, then that will be the point where I'm like, all right, I feel okay enough, or if we hit that 70% herd immunity threshold, I'll feel okay too, but it doesn't look hopeful for that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's anyway, deep dive into cave syndrome. Go check that out. We'll put a link in the description of the full episode for this. I don't think it'll allow it on the short whatever thing here. Anyway, hey Blake, while we're going, I got some stuff on my end I need to manage for the show. No. Could you just monitor the chat and make sure if anything
pops in or not?
Yeah. Just send me a little private chat here in our thing saying like
absolutely.
A screener. And we'll see how we can work it in. Cool.
I just pop this over here. Because unfortunately, Restream's responsiveness with a chat, it just hides the chat. Not my favorite feature.
Yeah. But that's much better.
That's why we have two people.
Yes. Oh, I like this. So there's in Restream, there's a little button to show the default graphics and not show them, and I've just clicked it off, and now it's only our stuff, which is great. I love that.
That's pretty sick.
I don't know if you noticed this, Blake, but I put 2 of these in here, one with the logo and one without, so that way if like, we're sharing screens or whatever, we can just click it off.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Anyway, it's a behind the scenes thing. What were you going to say something? I cut you off.
I have no idea.
Okay.
In one part of my brain, out the other. Mm-hmm. It's been a Thursday.
Yeah. What's a Thursday? Any plans this weekend? It's a holiday weekend.
Yeah, so Elise's dad is in town. He's actually going to come in tonight.
Great.
We'll have a massive amount of pizza this evening, so I'm super excited. But I have no idea what we're going to really get into. I think they are going to take off and go to the zoo tomorrow. I've still got to work, but I'm sure we'll get into some fun things. Maybe go to dog beach and take the dog, let him run around.
Good.
But who knows? How about you? Any kind of fun plans with the fam?
Well, the apartment complex just opened up the pool.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and they're taking reservations this weekend. So we are going to put in a reservation. I think it opens up at midnight tonight, so we might try to jump in there before anyone else, right? It's a holiday weekend, so.
Wow. That's pretty wild, man.
My mom's birthday is tomorrow, so we're going to go out and get dinner with her. It's weird. Like, life is almost getting back to where it should be. It's kind of weird, man. Like, I'm having this weird adjustment complex going on.
That's wild about the pool. Ours has been open mostly the entire time, so it's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah,
crazy. We have a really tiny complex as well. On top of that,
okay, yeah, we're yeah. There's a lot of people here, so it's one of those things where it's like it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Let's see. I am trying to think if there's anything else we need to do to prep before the show. We're like 3 minutes out. Any last words, I guess?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Let me see. Is there anything else in here that I needed to make sure? Yeah. So the way the show runs, we do the news first. I just have to remember that every time.
Yes. Well, I have a cue that will help you remember that we're doing the news first.
Thank goodness.
We do have some programming notes before we jump in, so it won't be as abrupt. It'll be more like what we used to do, but we'll
nice.
See.
That's perfectly fine. I'm just used to talking mess at the top versus jumping into the show notes.
Yeah, I think it's a good move to put the news first. That's what people want to hear. They don't want to hear us banter, but I mean,
absolutely,
I miss it.
Well,
so that's why we have the pre-show.
Yeah, that's very true. It definitely feels stranger at the end, and I feel like I need to be continuing to add value when it gets to the end, and then I don't want to banter. So it's an interesting take.
It's almost like a shoot. Well, we we need to relax a little bit before we get out of here.
It's good.
Yeah, anyway. All right. Well, we are, I think, just about ready to go live. Again, if you've been hanging out with us for the pre-show, thank you so much. We really appreciate that and you hanging out with us during the pre-show. No, it's not easy to sit here and listen to us prepare the podcast. Hopefully, we've provided enough levity and conversation for you. Stick around. We're going to be doing the show for real. We're going to be talking about virtual reality and how it warps your perception of time. So that'll be fun. And we're going to be doing that in just a minute. I'm stalling for time here until 59, if anyone's wondering, but that's what's going on. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Like, we will be right back, and we're going to do the show. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Human Factors Cast, your weekly podcast for human factors, psychology, and design.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Human Factors Cast. This is episode 207. We're recording this live on May 27th, 2021. I'm your host, Nick Roome. I'm joined across the internet waves by Mr. Blake Arnsdorff.
Across the waves themselves. How are you, Nick?
Hey, Blake. I am fantastic. Normally we banter, but now we're doing some programming notes. I got to jump into some things because we got some exciting announcements here today. At the top of the show, I want to make sure everyone hears them. This is a big announcement, Blake. This is something
it's
a big one. We've been cooking this up for a while now. And we are proud to announce that we have opened up the Human Factors Cast Digital Media Lab.
Ooh.
So it's basically what it is. Sounds like it's a lab. If you're interested in getting involved with the show, it's an opportunity to do that. If you're a grad student looking for more experience, if you're an undergrad looking for experience, students looking for that real world experience, we're incubating a bunch of different ideas here. And the main focus here is to make human factors accessible and communicate it in different ways. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for anyone looking to get involved. If you're an academic looking to share your work, reach out to us. There's probably an opportunity here for you. Designers who want to work on your portfolio certainly can do that with us. If you do want to get involved, please get in touch with us. We can work together to figure out something that might be a good fit for you and your skill set. We have blog articles that you can write. You can write custom code for our website, conduct interviews with people in the field, produce YouTube content, stream human factors related content on Twitch. That's something you can do. Contribute to our Patreon exclusive content, or come up with your own ideas. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do to help out the show. And so we are formalizing that in the Human Factors Cast Digital Media Lab. Like I said, contact us. There's a form on the website that you can get to us. You can reach us at humanfactorscast@gmail.com. Get to our website. You can leave a voicemail there. There's a bunch of ways that you can get to us. Reach out to us on social media, whatever it is. With that said, though, I do want to welcome the newest addition to the Human Factors Cast team, Katie Sabo. Maybe she's watching tonight. I don't know. Katie is actually joining us as a digital media production research assistant. So, with that, she did publish her first article on her blog yesterday, giving a bit more detail on the cave syndrome that we discussed on last week's show. So go check it out. It's a great piece. Gets more into the nitty gritty than even Aaron and I did on the show. So it's a great companion piece to the podcast if you're looking for that. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. What do you think about the Digital Media Lab, Blake?
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. I'm just looking forward to getting a lot more people involved in various aspects in the podcast and just, getting ideas out there. But I mean, your goal with this show has always been making human factors much more accessible. And I think this is like one of the giant leaps forward for what the podcast can do. So this is really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Another kind of less pressing programming note, my office hours are going to change from 11 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays to 1 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. Small change. With that, I think it's time for Human Factors news. Yes, that's right. It is Human Factors News. This is the part of the show where we search all over the internet, talk about human factors. This could be anything related to the field, as long as it's medical, privacy, security, robotics, artificial intelligence. We got some VR in there this week. I'm really excited. You name it. It's as long as it relates to the field of human factors, it's fair game for Blake and I to sit here and talk about. Blake, what do we have up first this week?
So how virtual reality can warp your sense of time. So Grayson Mullen, a cognitive scientist at UC Santa Cruz, wanted to know how virtual reality's effect on a game player's sense of time could differ from those of conventional monitors. So he and other of his colleagues designed a maze game that could be played in both formats, so both in VR and through conventional monitors. Participants in this study that they conducted would play both conventional and virtual reality formats, with researchers, of course, randomizing which version each student played or each participant played. And participants were then asked while playing the game whether they felt like 5 minutes had passed. Since there were actually no clocks in the game, each person had to estimate this time based on their own perceptions while they were playing the game. So the study found that participants who played the virtual reality version of this maze game played an average of about 72 seconds longer than before they actually realized 5 minutes had passed or claimed that 5 minutes had passed, compared to students who had done it on a conventional monitor. In other words, about 30% more of the time they realized they were actually in virtual reality than actual time had passed. So compared to your conventional format, where you're kind of thinking that time is just passing a little bit slower. So this effect where time goes faster than you think is called time compression. And time compression being observed amongst virtual reality, amongst players in virtual reality, is much more than you see in conventional gameplay. So Nick, it's been a long time since we've talked about anything VR, but initial thoughts, what are you kind of thinking here?
Yeah, it's obvious to me. And I think it's pretty much obvious to anyone who spent any extended period of time in virtual reality. Time gets away from you. And I mean, we can talk about some specifics here, but I think just my general thoughts, time gets away from you. And I think that's largely because you have no perception of the outside world. You're not looking at things that are changing, like the shadows slowly changing from day to night outside your window, or the ambient light in your apartment or home that give you those cues as to what time it is or how much time has actually passed. So just off the top of my head, yes, this makes sense to me. What are you thinking? Because you have a little bit of experience in VR.
So it seems like a no-brainer to me, and I do have like very, very limited experience with VR, but I know what it's like to get lost playing video games and realize like, oh man, 4 hours has passed, or not even just like watching and playing on conventional monitors or in my living room. So I could imagine it would be doubly so in VR. I mean, I've had basically one or two VR experiences, one of which was with you, and I could imagine just getting lost in just looking around in the world, much less playing a game. So it seems straightforward, but it may tell us a little bit more about virtual reality and how people kind of interact with it.
Yeah, so let's take a step back. Let's talk about virtual reality, where it's at now, just in terms of what's going on with VR headsets and where it's headed, right? I think that's a good place to start. So if you look at most headsets out on the market, I think there's a lot of focus on making these things more comfortable. You have something like the PlayStation VR, which fits on your head. It is clearly designed with comfort in mind, and things like comfort will extend the amount of time that people are able to keep them on their head. There's a bunch of different design considerations, like being able to press a button and decouple the lenses from your face, so that way air can reach up and vent into your glasses and eyeballs. These also, think about like the bulkiness of equipment from something like, in the 1980s, where you had these big bulky headsets. Now they're getting sleeker and more streamlined and less of a cumbersome thing, right? Like if you think about like the Oculus Quest, this is something that has no tether really, and so it's just a headset that you throw on your face, and it's light enough and it plays games at a certain fidelity that is kind of unreal. So if you're thinking about the progress of where these things are at right now, these things are fairly comfortable to wear and are not going to cause discomfort when you're using them. In terms of where it's going to go, I mean, we even talked about a couple of these things on the show before, where you have these patents where they're like super flat up against your eyeballs, and there's not this like bulky, heavy weight in front of your face pulling your head down and straining your neck. So we can see that there's progress being made to shorten the distance between your eyeballs and the screen, increase the field of view to make it more immersive, as well as lighten the load on your head to stop with the strain on your neck. So that's kind of where the technology is at now. Anything to add to that, Blake?
Yeah, it's just interesting that I think there's also a lot of partnerships that are going on now with companies trying to make it much more commercial than it ever was before, especially when you mention like the Oculus Quest. I mean, thinking about the fact that you used to have to consider the machine, the basically CPU and machine you were going to buy in addition to the headset to even think about doing something in VR or getting a video game console. But now the fact that you can even access this technology in an untethered format makes it much more realistic in terms of people having it in their homes or people, giving to their kids or whatever it may be. So I think we're going to see it more and more. So the comfort aspect has got to continue to improve. But I know AR is much different here, but I know a lot of companies are also kind of banding together to get the first, popular AR glasses out there through companies like Ray-Ban and others. So I think only more and more we're going to see this become something that we kind of consider to be an everyday household item, both for things like games like this paper talks about, but I think for other kind of applied fields and kind of uses as well.
Yeah, you bring up another point there, Blake, that I didn't even touch on, which is the compatibility issues. So you were right. In days of old, you used to have to pick a PC that was able to run the thing. You had to get a headset that was compatible with your PC. You had to have the right graphics card and all this stuff to be able to run it and then tether it to the thing. And now you can buy the Oculus Quest for like $400 and it's a all-in-one package. You don't need to worry about anything. You just slap it on your head and go. Buy the things that you want to buy, and with that said, there's some kind of limitations on the device. Obviously, Oculus is owned by Facebook. They want to make sure that you're in their ecosystem. And so there's only certain games on that environment. So it's not as open source, although there's ways around that. And that's a little cumbersome, but in terms of ease of use, it's getting there. Right. Now I do want to kind of take a step back from that and talk about time and just the perception of time in general. We had a wonderful conversation with Peter and Gabby Hancock at HFES in 2018. If you haven't listened to that interview yet, go listen to that because we discuss whether or not time is even real.
Yeah. Do yourself
talk
a
about
favor.
A brain fry there. So
Yeah.
that's some additional listening if you want to go listen to that. But time perception is interesting. There's a couple different things that go on with it. In this case, in this study, we are looking at time compression, right? And there are certain things that make time compress and time extend based on what's going on, right? I think we talked about, I don't remember if this was on the show or if this was some other thing. Maybe it was office hours. There was a study that was done that if you're looking at somebody in the eyeballs, time extends a little bit when you make eye contact with somebody. So it seems longer than it actually is. Anyway, that's beyond the point. The point is that time compression and time extension happens in these environments. And so what's happening in VR is you are misinterpreting the amount of time that is passing in, I'm going to say the real world, or in reality. We can call it in reality, right? So let's say 5 minutes passes in reality, and you may think only 4 minutes has passed in VR. And that is because you are perceiving time to have only moved 4 minutes in virtual reality, when in reality, it has moved 5 minutes. And so you are perceiving it as being slower in the virtual environment, but in reality, time outside has compressed. I don't know if I'm doing that justice, Blake. Can you help explain it a little bit better?
Yeah, so basically what Nick is saying, and I think you did a good job, but ultimately what it is like, consider yourself playing a video game, watching something in virtual reality, whatever it may be. If you think that 5 minutes has passed, what's happening in this time compression effect is in reality, 5 minutes has passed, but it passed long before you assumed it had. In this case, in the study, it's some amount of seconds longer than 5 minutes, typically a little bit over a minute. Past 5 minutes, people are estimating that they were playing a game for 5 minutes, that when in reality they played for longer than that. So that's really the time compression effect that Nick is describing. You thinking something's happened at a specific interval of time, but in reality, it's already passed you by.
Yeah, and there's a couple really great examples of this, right? Something painful that you are watching in real time. And I have a story about this that actually just happened this week. I I made dinner for us Monday, pot pies, and they were scalding hot, and I gave my wife one, and
I don't know where this is going. Oh,
it spilled over on her foot, and
no.
burned her foot really badly. And I shouldn't laugh because this is still recent.
Oh no.
But everything in that span of time that was probably like 10 minutes felt like 20 hours.
I'm sure it did. Oh goodness.
Because it was dinner time and my son was eating, and I was trying to clean up messes and make sure my son was okay and make sure my wife was okay. A lot going on. And it was an unpleasant experience, and it felt like the time that was happening there, it took forever. And that's kind of the opposite of compression, I know, but it's just a perception of time thing that went on. So this can be, let's talk about compression specifically, right? This can be good in a couple different situations. I can think of like a medical procedure that might be unpleasant. You could, like curing burns or something. you can make that go by quicker by compressing time, by like playing video games while you're getting the procedure done or something to distract you from the unpleasant thing that's being done, right? Chemotherapy, something like that. Then there's the opposite spectrum where it could be bad, where you are potentially in an environment where maybe you don't want to lose track of time, like, I don't know, a casino. And you have, you are in the casino and you just keep throwing money away, or winning money or whatever you do in a casino.
Keep drinking away, keep like spending way too much time in a dark room with no clocks and no real sunlight.
And that's part of the trick, right? Like I mentioned, that ambient light going on around you actually plays a big role in how you perceive time. And so that could be a situation where it could be bad. I don't know, Blake, what do you got for compression, time perception?
So one thing you mentioned this a little bit. I do want to call it out a little bit more because I thought it was awesome that it had been studied, or like virtual reality and time compression had been studied in the capacity of like shortening something that's painful or something that you don't want to, focus too much on, like chemotherapy. Because I remember when my stepdad was going through that a couple of years ago, it was kind of a horrible process for him. Like, we would be at a place for an hour and he felt like he had been there, an entire day, just from like the draining aspects and all that kind of stuff. And so something like this, where you're basically using a way to trick your mind with a secondary device, in this case virtual reality, it's got some interesting effects that can be really, really positive. And that's not like a real application that I would have thought of because it's so tangential to, playing a game and losing track of time in this case. But thinking about like, okay, yeah, in the surgery world or in the medical world, that could be really beneficial. Or even in times where like kids need to be able to do something that's, a use of their time while their parents are kind of interacting, doing other things they have to do. But I think the negative effects are something that are not talked about enough. I don't know, Nick. I played video games most of my life, and I didn't realize like some of the damage I was doing to my, sleep cycle and the amount of time that I would lose track of time. So I do think this is one of those phenomenon that it's important to understand a little bit more. And it'll be important because as you've really laid out for everybody, the development of these headsets has gotten really awesome since the 80s, and it's probably only going to get better from here and more accessible to everybody. So the more we kind of understand from the human factors and the design side of what we can do in these games to make it so it doesn't turn into you always losing time or always getting so lost and immersed in something that you like the rest of your life or things you have to do passes you by, will be a really important aspect. And we don't want to start causing, adverse health issues like affecting somebody's sleep or, making people like have different mood swings and disorders based off of playing too many games in VR.
Well, let's talk about like what this time compression can do if you are in a situation where it is impacting your sleep cycle, right? It's heavily researched that if your circadian rhythm is off, even by a little bit, it can impact your mood and kind of result in a large number of health problems, right? Like mood disorders, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, seasonal affective disorder, even. and there's some research out there that would suggest that there are certain types of people, like night owls, that might have a better resistance towards these types of things. But even so, everyone has their own circadian rhythm, and when that is thrown off, some of these major mood disorders can come through. And if we're talking about time compression in VR, if you're thinking about pushing, like throwing on that headset at 7 p.m. and bedtime's 10 p.m. and now it's 3 a.m. because you've been playing a game in VR or something, it's a huge deal, because you've just offset your schedule by that much, and it's going to take time to recover from that. And if you're doing it on a regular basis where, the next night you throw it on at 8 p.m. and you're up until 4, it's again the same thing. You're slowly throwing off that rhythm, and it's going to have lasting health effects.
Absolutely, yeah. And trying to recover from something like that, like I feel like I've learned more about sleep probably in the past 2 years from the just more access to research that's available, kind of like in the zeitgeist, through podcasts and whatnot. But trying to catch back up is really, really hard. It's not something you can just like sleep an entire day and you're just back to normal. It has a really, long lasting effect, and it can take days to kind of get yourself back to a norm. And I think in a world too, where where we spend so much more time than we ever have in front of screens, both like mobile, working stuff after work. So it's a careful balance for sure. And I think with VR and the potential for it to be as immersive as it can be, it's gonna be up to, in a lot of ways, the designers of both games and like applications that are designed for VR for you to interact with, to create them in ways that make sure that you as the user are very clear about what's going on in terms of the rest of your life outside, whether it's just like monitoring time or setting windows for when you shouldn't be using the application or whatever it may be. So it's a cool set of technology, but I do think it could have severe consequences if not moderated.
Yeah, so I want to go back to this article and talk about the key research claim here, right? This is a quote. This is the first time we can really isolate that it's not just that you're playing a video game or the content of whatever you're seeing. It's really the fact that it is virtual reality versus a conventional screen that contributes to this time compression effect, right? They had them do something that wasn't that engaging. It was a maze. It's a goal-based thing. It's not like a game where it's engaging. It's just an objective-based thing. And I think that's kind of what the rationale that they would use is. That's why it's shown that, at least in this study, that it's VR and not like playing a game or watching content or anything like that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting claim. And it's I guess validating to see it shown in this study, because I mean, like, it's cool because definitely, like I said, I've experienced it. We've talked about the impacts that this has on things like mood or even what time compression is. Do you have any other last thoughts, opinions on this study here, Blake?
One thing because I'm glad you brought up the main point here, and that's the fact that the game was very simple. So the immersion aspect was really related to VR. Because when we first started, I was like, this can't be that insane, because I know that from conventional games, I've been, sucked into time and, spent too much time playing them, or much longer than I intended. But I think the fact that we're seeing this like related directly to VR of something that's very simple, I wonder if it's kind of the same magnitude if you played like if two people played the same game in different contexts. So, traditional versus VR and how that would affect them. Because I feel like part of it could be some of the immersion is related to the game, which then is related to the player's interest and things of that nature.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, because the kind of last piece that I want to talk about here is the why. Why is virtual like that's kind of the next step in this research, is what aspects of being in virtual reality make it or contribute to that time compression, right? Is it the fact that you are playing a game? Is it that you're doing some goal-based thing? Or is it because you lack a peripheral vision or something like that? So that's kind of the next steps in this research, is to figure out why. They do say that there is one kind of thing that I kind of mentioned here tangentially, but it's the body awareness piece, right? I mentioned it in the sense of being aware of your surroundings, your body and the surroundings, the light coming through the windows, that type of thing. But they do mention here, when you look down in virtual reality, you might see nothing where your body is, or you might see a schematic of a body, but you don't feel like you're in your body. Does that impact the way that, you perceive time in virtual reality? Or, is it other things like heartbeat and bodily rhythms to track the passage of time? And when you're in these environments, you have less of a sense of your body in reality versus virtual reality. And you're missing the pulses of that timekeeping mechanism. So there's some interesting suggestions in there. Curious to see where the research goes from here. I think it's really cool.
I think there's a massive opportunity to, based on that one theory, right? So I kind of want to break it down for listeners real quick. So there are theories out there that state we may rely on our heartbeat and other bodily rhythms to help our brain track the passage of time. So looking down and you see a less vivid image of your body or of a body that you don't identify as yours from your brain's thought process, then you may be less likely to even, keep track of time in a normal way. So maybe that's what's going on here. But that little bit right there, which this is all related to playing games and VR, but it makes me think that there's a lot to be done in neuroscience and understanding how the brain actually works and communicates with the rest of the body through studies like this that are focused on like what happens in virtual reality. Because a theory like that, where your body is basically, if your brain's not seeing your body, it's not as concerned with these different rhythmic pulses that it's usually keeping track of and identifying like you with yourself. And so it kind of experiences the world in a different way. So I wonder, like, over time, how this will like translate into understanding, just neurology and your brain in general.
Yeah, I do want to mention one other thing too, right? And it's fun to talk about time compression and playing games and having like the weird effects, right? But there is some real benefit to doing this. This is kind of the application piece. What can we take away from a study like this? And I think that's really important to talk about, is to, what you could do is potentially get insight on how to design environments, how to design experiences in virtual reality that potentially can minimize some of the harm done by some of the things that we just talked about, right? Like if you do have missing pulses for that timekeeping mechanism, maybe there are ways to design around that so you have a better sense of your body and time in virtual environments and experiences, and potentially providing that insight to designers of these experiences, so that way they are less harmful on the human body in the long term. I think that's kind of one really interesting application here that we almost got away from, but I'm glad we kind of mentioned it, because it is like, this is a fun topic. Time compression. It's like one of those things you don't realize the harmful effects of until it's happened. There are real world consequences here, and hopefully this will provide insight into that type of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are really great points. And I think the more that we're able to kind of design around issues like this or phenomena that we learn about like this that are related to VR, the better off people are going to be able to enjoy the experience and not be sucked into a lot of the negative consequences behind it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thank you to our patrons this week for selecting our topic. And thank you to our friends over at UC Santa Cruz for our news story this week. If you want to follow along, we do post the links on our blog and our Slack and our Discord whenever we find them. So go join us over there for more discussion. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to see what's going on in the Human Factors community.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our weekly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and Human Factors Minute, a Patreon-only weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be right for you. Thank you, and remember, it depends.
All right. As always, huge thank you to our patrons and especially our honorary Human Factors cast staff, Michelle, Tripp, because patrons like you keep the show running and keep the lights on over here at Human Factors Cast. Thank you so much for your continued support. Go check out Patreon. We got always like the ad always says, rewards are always changing. We even got some other stuff up there like a show sponsor role. So if you're interested in something like that, go check that out. Patrons are actually what keep the show on. I don't know if we've said that, but seriously, look at the quality of us streaming video now. It's you've mentioned it in the pre-show, Blake. It's come a long way, and it's all because of our patrons. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears and get to this next part of the show.
It came from.
That's right. It came from this week. It's Reddit. This is the part of the show where we search all over the internet to bring you topics the community is talking about. This could be anything related to the field of human factors, as long as it's good enough for Blake and I to sit here and talk about and answer, and we have stuff to talk about. Anyway, that's a long-winded thing. It's anywhere. It could be anywhere. All right, so let's go ahead and we have 3 today. And we talked about this in the pre-show a little bit. We're going to tell a story today. We're going to talk about this story of Joe Schmo, who is going through early career development. Let's talk about it that way. All right. So we have 3 here. This first one here is from Left Noob Enthusiast on the User Experience subreddit. I was interviewed for a job interview I think I'm not qualified for. Could that be a mistake? They go on to write, hello there. I am a new grad. Will be graduating this year, and had cold mailed a product manager at a tech company for an entry-level product designer job. To my surprise, he sent me a design challenge link. However, after clicking on the link, they were looking for someone with 4 years of experience. I had clearly mentioned I had no corporate experience, but I took my chance and I worked on the design challenge and submitted it. Now he said he wanted to take it forward and invited me for an interview. The design challenge clearly mentioned they were looking for someone with 4 years experience, and obviously I don't have that. So what's happening here? Does he just not notice that I was a new grad, or did he want to give me a chance before rejecting me? Blake, what do you think what's going on in this situation? Have you ever had anything like this happen to you?
Yes, I absolutely have. And I think this is one of those times where it's probably a good time to remind people that you are as good as other people think you are. So definitely take a step back here, because I think the connotation you're putting on yourself is like, I'm right out of grad school. I'm too new at this. I don't know what I'm doing. But obviously somebody's trying to give you a chance in some way. Now, whether they, totally weren't paying attention, needed to fill the role that badly, maybe. But it sounds like to me that although you think you're not in the right place, maybe you are. It could have been the way you presented yourself in whatever precursor, because you said there was like a cold email or cold call. So maybe it was how you presented yourself in an email. Maybe they looked you up on LinkedIn, or they looked at the program that you're from and were like, hey, maybe this is worth a shot. But regardless, it sounds like that after all, you really are in the right place, because even if you, one thing to consider for like hiring managers and job postings that you see, yes, they put, amount of experience they want on there. But if you are able to get an interview without that experience, just show off what you can do, because sometimes they'll put a larger tier of, or a higher limit in terms of experience or job qualifications than they actually need, which is not a great practice, but you can still get the interview and have the conversation. But I don't know. I think that this is not somebody not noticing something and just looking to reject you. I think this person likely saw potential in you through one of the actions that you did, whether it's the email or the first design challenge that you mentioned here, and they actually wanted to give you a chance. I hope that's the case. But Nick, what are you seeing here? Have you kind of been in this situation yourself?
I've not necessarily been in the situation myself. We'll talk about imposter syndrome a little later, but I think what's happening here is the fact that the bad practice of saying 4 years, right? Entry level job, 4 years experience, $15 an hour, that type of thing. I think the 4 years probably came from some writer, and if it's a large tech company, they say it's a tech company. They don't disclose the size. If it's a large tech company, chances are the person who needs the hire is not the person that's writing the qualifications for the job. Usually they farm those out to HR or marketing or something like that, where they will put in things that they find elsewhere on the internet. At least this is my understanding, right? So they'll see like, oh, this position typically needs someone with this many years of experience. And if it's a tech company, they're going to say that everywhere. They're going to say it, in the job posting, they're going to say it everywhere. I tend to agree with you, Blake. If you've got the interview, take it. Kind of believe in yourself until it happens or doesn't happen. The worst you can do is not be honest with them, though. I mean, like, just tell them like, hey, maybe omit the truth. Maybe don't mention the fact that you have less than 4 years experience here, but don't call it out either. I don't know. I feel like I'm telling you to lie. Don't lie, but don't tell them that, you missed it, because it's on them at this point. If they haven't noticed, it's on them. That's how I feel about it. And that might not be the right way to go about it. But
well, I think you're right, though. I mean, if they've gotten this far, I guess my opinion is that the amount of experience they had maybe doesn't even matter that much. And that if that should be coming up in the interview or when they look at your resume anyway. So, I mean, definitely, like Nick said, don't lie about it. But at the end of the day, I think that you've already gotten past the having to be worried about how many years of experience you have.
Honestly, that comes from the submission of a resume, right? Like, that's the check. They look at your work experience and determine whether or not it's 4 years or equivalent, and say, okay, you're in to the next round, right? That's kind of the check that I would imagine that 4-year check is at anyway. So I don't know. Go for it. Do it. You got this.
You cold mailed them. Go after it.
We believe in you. All right. We should get into the next one here. So again, we're telling a story here about this. Let's pretend it's the same person. Although this one was written by Gom Soup on the user experience subreddit. So this next one here, just pretend it's the same person. Now they've been working at this company for a while. They say, is it really that bad to stay at the same company for more than 2 years? They must really like it there. They go on to write, I'm a UI UX designer at a medical device company in the United States. And I've worked here for about 8 months. I graduated last year, and this is my first full-time job. Since it's a medical device company, everything is moving extremely slow, similar to the defense industry. Because of that, people stay at this company for a long duration. The team I'm in is getting backstabbed pretty often, but I don't think one of those will become a death blow that will get me fired, hopefully. Since all jobs are requiring at least 3 to 5 years of experience, I'm thinking about staying at the company for 3 to 5 years and move to a different company at a medium or senior level. Thing is, I'm seeing a lot of posts saying that employees that stay at the same company for more than 2 years are valued less. Is it really that bad to stay at the same company for more than 2 years in the industry? Blake?
This is really interesting of a post. So I don't know where the validity of this, you're devalued if you stayed somewhere for more than 2 years is in the human factors or UX industry. I don't really know where that's coming from.
I do.
As long as you do, then you can go through it. But it just doesn't seem like, from my perspective, the way this is written, that it's worth just sticking 3 to 5 years out. Because listen, the way that I perceive this stuff is, if you're not feeling like you're either happy, growing, enjoying the process, or learning a lot, then maybe you don't need to be at a company, whether it's 7 years down the line, or it's 1 year in. So I don't really know about this whole deal of just staying so that it looks like you stayed somewhere for a specific amount of time, so then you can go apply for other jobs, because that's like having a plan B and just executing plan A until you're ready for plan B. And I just think you might as well go and do the other thing you want to do, because like the post before this, I mean, you could get lucky and get a job offer for something with a lot less experience, or you could spend a lot of time networking instead of waiting for 3 to 5 years and build your way into the next job that you want to do, or be doing stuff on your nights and weekends to help you get a different job. So I just don't really know that if you're feeling this way and you're not really excited about what you're doing and you're kind of worried about the longevity at the company as it is, mentioning like a potential death blow to get you fired, maybe it's just time to consider looking at other places and networking to see what else you could do, and not really worrying too much about the 3 to 5 year cap.
Okay, let me address this 2 years thing. I think the 2 years is being conflated. I don't think people get devalued for staying less than 2 years, right? There's certainly a generational shift. I would say those of older generations, I'll be polite there, typically value things like loyalty to a company, right? And loyalty is rewarded. However, I feel like the younger generations have figured out how to quote unquote hack the system. I think the 2 years comes from the, I guess, socially accepted amount of time before moving on to another company, without it looking like you're just jumping from company to company. People in early careers do this to increase their salary. And I think that's where this 2 years comes from. You stay with a company for 2 years, you jump ship to another company, get a huge bump in salary, and then do the same thing another 2 years later, another huge increase in salary, and the cycle goes on and on. And so I think, at some point there's going to be you're I want to say it, you're too old to get a job at a certain company because they want somebody with, fresh out of school or something that's less expensive or something. So it's a trade-off, I feel like, in terms of generational, to get to a place where you will either have work lined up for a while or, you have a steady job. It's weird. So that's my opinion on where that 2 years has come from. I personally value loyalty. I think, if I were in charge of the payroll, I would pay people, a substantial boost for being there for a long time, because that means that they're going to keep working for me as long as their work is good, right? And so, is it really that bad to stay at the company for more than 2 years? Absolutely not. I think it kind of just fits, or it depends on. Damn it! I did the thing. We need like an "it depends" buzzer over here.
Yeah, like the bleep button.
Right. It does depend though on your situation, right? We had a question a couple weeks ago about a mother who was asking about jumping from contract to contract and whether having children impacted that. And if you have children, having a stable job, a stable income might be more valuable to you than, let's say, a 10 to 20% increase in salary. That 10 to 20% increase in salary might also be very helpful to somebody who has a family and mouths to feed. So it can be kind of tempting.
Absolutely.
But it's like, do you take that risk? There's a lot of factors involved. So I wouldn't necessarily harp on anybody for jumping ship after 2 years. And I say jumping ship, but really it's leaving a company. As long as you do it on good terms, then I don't see any issues here. I don't know. It's a complex question. And I think there's a lot of conflation going on there with devaluing somebody after 2 years. I don't think that's necessarily true. So anyway, we're telling the story of this person, Joe Schmo, who has now graduated college, gone to the first job, and is thinking about jumping ship. So let's answer the question. Moving from one company to another. Imposter syndrome? ? This one's from Why Wait So Overpriced on the user experience subreddit. And so they say, so I'm a level 1 at my current company I'm working at, but I've been leading projects on my own, more or less, so I'm potentially moving out to a similar sized company with a more established design culture and cross-functional relationships with user experience, but it'll be more of a mid-level role with an entirely new domain I'll have to grasp. During my interview, I think I overload myself a bit on how I deal with certain situations and work with PMs and engineers, but maybe that's just imposter syndrome. I know my potential manager will have tons of resources for me, and I've mentioned imposter syndrome to him during my one-on-one interview. Any tips for me when I start the new company? Blake.
So this all sounds normal for sure, because it's so funny to me. So when you go through the interview process, you try to be somewhere in the middle, but you tend to always oversell yourself because like when a question gets asked, what the right answer is. So you'll lean into that. Like that's pretty natural here. So overselling yourself in an interview is one thing, but the reality of that is the person you're talking to has to be able to weigh like, okay, how much am I trusting all of this person is saying? And they have to weigh how much they expect you to be able to do on your own. But they'll still need to like help you through the company. So ultimately, because you're starting something completely new in a different style of role, with a new domain, I mean, there is going to be enough kind of learning curve uptime for you to kind of get a handle on where you're at in reality. But if you already have been doing a lot of like management and dealing with different cross-functional teams outside of a company with a really defined like design culture, I think you're going to find it a good bit easier to insert yourself into a new culture that has design processes that are put in place, and you'll be able to learn a whole lot just from being in a new spot. And if you were upfront about somebody in a one-on-one interview, like before you even got the job, there are imposter syndrome issues, that's awesome because it shows a good bit of vulnerability. So from my perspective, if that was you and me in an interview, I would have a lot more trust than I did when you first walked into the interview, just because you were able to tell me exactly how you're feeling. So I think that there's probably a nice, careful balance of feeling like you're going to a brand new role. You're kind of nervous about it. You haven't gone through that proof of concept period where you have to perform or whatever and see what you're really made of. But I think that's natural going into any brand new role. And I wouldn't doubt your prior experience, and then kind of think about retrospectively what you would improve from your prior job into a new role and see how you can grow into that at this new place.
Yeah. My answer is going to be fairly simple here. I think imposter syndrome is a terrible disease, and needs to be eradicated. But I also feel like, look, if you are going to, if you're interviewing with a company that, in your words, have established a more established design culture, cross-functional relationships with UX, chances are they know what they're doing when they're hiring people. And so I would look at the fact that the company has this great design culture, great cross-functional relationship with other groups, and say, okay, well, they know what they're doing if they were to hire me, which would then backhandedly give me faith in myself if they hired me. So what I'm saying here is they're hiring you for a reason, and it's normal to feel imposter syndrome. But if they didn't think that you couldn't do the job, they wouldn't have hired you. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. So, there's a certain understanding that any job that you pick up, you're going to have a learning curve where you're learning a new domain. Potentially, it could be the same domain, but there's still nuances to every job that you have to learn. And it's not just a walk in and lead the show. It's going to be walk in, learn the culture, learn the product, learn the user, and then act on those. And, it might take you a month, 2 months to get up to speed. But once you're there, you're there. And again, they won't hire you unless they think you can do it. And if you can't do it, then they'll fire you. And that's it. That's the simplicity of it.
Yeah. And I mean, either way, it's going to be a good learning experience. And I think a lot of people get caught in their heads about that they don't know what they're doing. And it's easy to do because we work, I think, like, especially in the human factors world, we work in a lot of complex domains where just learning a domain seems insane. Much less doing the job.
I agree. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into one more thing? It's pretty self-explanatory. We don't have a little fun thing for this yet. I don't know if we will, but we have one more thing. Blake, what's your one more thing?
One more thing, Nick. This resource that I came across on the internet while I was taking a Google machine learning course is, I forget what it's exactly called, but it's called People Plus AI, the guidebook. And it's basically a guidebook of design patterns from Google about how to implement AI or think about AI in terms of when you're designing new software, where it would be useful, kind of like material design, but for thinking about AI systems. So it's just one of those things I wanted to throw out there to make people aware of, because I'm sure a lot of people have seen it before, but it was something I stumbled across by accident. And I thought that much like material design, the value it brings to how I think about, the way when AI would be beneficial to think about in terms of pieces of software, application development, it just provides nice scaffolding. So it is just something I wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes. So this is how people and AI interact together. I'm looking at it now. It's pretty cool, right? It gives you this is actually kind of a neat little web interface for this too, right? It kind of gives you a couple different entry points, right? Like you could just get started, or it breaks it down by chapters, and it's actually it's pretty neat. I'm looking at it now for the first time, and I'm pretty excited to jump into this, Blake. So thank you for bringing this up. And like I said, we'll put a link to this down in the show notes. Anything else, people AI guidebook?
I think that's it. That's all I got for this one more thing this week, Nick.
All right. For me, man, I got to say, getting an apartment is harder than getting a PlayStation 5. I don't know if you've tried to get a PlayStation 5 yet.
I tried today, and it was not successful.
Yes, right? It's hard. So the housing market, Aaron and I actually talked about this last week on our post show. Housing market right now is kind of nuts. It's very competitive. Yeah. We're talking with a real estate agent right now who had a client jump off the plane, go to a house, and had to make a decision that day before a certain time. I think it was 4 p.m. or something, and they had 8 minutes to spare when they wrote the offer. They got off the plane, saw the house, made an offer same day, because the market is insane right now.
Yeah.
Now, that is actually being carried over to places like apartments. We're looking for, specific parameters, and, so that way I can do the show and have an office basically while we house hunt in this new area that I'm not mentioning yet. So another part of the country. How about that? And so finding a place with these specific parameters was difficult enough when we visited. And then now we have to camp. And we have to camp out on the website. So I had my 5 different tabs open with the different places that we were considering, and some rank higher than others. And there were compromises we were willing to make on some, but not others. And so it's like I had all these windows open, and like every couple hours I'd refresh, and then one would pop up, and we were like, "Oh yes, that's it." And then it'd be gone like in 20 minutes, and it's like kind of insane, because I think the attributes that we're looking for. Certain number of bedrooms, certain number of baths with certain attributes like a pantry or washer dryer unit, those types of things, right? Those attributes are more desirable, and so they're more competitive. And so I'm sitting here looking at like the 5 different tabs, every hour, just refresh, just making sure that it's there. And I'm having a harder time than I have finding a PlayStation 5. Because at least those are up and available, and you can get on it. I still haven't got one, but I did get an apartment, so I guess maybe it's not as hard as a PlayStation 5. I don't know. We have one kind of like a bare minimum that we've accepted. We're willing to eat the application fee if another one, better one, comes available. Anyway,
nice. Well, that's good. At least you got prospects, and the PS5 is still hiding from everybody.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. Yeah. And then I'll just say one more thing. I guess no. You know what?
2 more things.
No, it's one more thing. I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe I'll say this one next week. All right. So that's going to be it for today, everyone. Let us know what you guys think of the news story this week. Have you ever been in VR? Do you have time dilation when you go in there? Let us know. You can hang out with us on our Slack or Discord, or get to us at any of our social channels. You can visit our official website, And if you are so inclined, feel free to reach out to us about joining the Human Factors Cast Digital Media Lab. If you like what you hear, you want to support the show, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can leave us a 5-star review on your podcast medium of choice if they allow you to do it. If they don't, you can tell your friends about us. That always helps the show grow. And if you have the financial means, you can always consider supporting us on Patreon. It allows the team to grow. It allows us to do more fancier things with more fancier bells and whistles. And we do give back to you for doing that. So, think about it. And as always, links to all of our socials and our website are in the description of this episode. I'm going to thank Mr. Blake Arnsdorff for being on the show today. Where can our listeners go and find you if they want to talk about playing games in virtual reality?
If you guys want to debate whether time is real or not, you can find me across social media at Don't Panic UX.
As for me, I've been your host, Nick Roome. You can find me streaming on Twitch Tuesdays now at 1 p.m. Pacific time for office hours, and across social media at Nick_Roome. Thanks again for tuning in to Human Factors Cast. Until next time,
it depends.
And if you're watching on stream, stick with us. We're going to do a post show, although I don't know what we're going to do for a post show. Because I don't know if you noticed this, Blake, but there's a thumbnail up there already.
Yeah, there is. Already done.
Yeah, so reason for that, we are trying something new, as we always do over here, I guess. There's a way for us to set up like streams on different platforms and have it kind of show up in people's feeds early, so that way they're notified of it. And to do that, we need a thumbnail, and so that's why some of you may have seen that in like your Facebook feed or on YouTube. We have the thumbnail there, so I had to move that to like before we even started recording. So I don't know what to do for the post show, Blake. I'm all ears right now, really.
Just to be clear, we're done with the show at this point, so I can stop recording.
You can stop recording. Yeah. Why are you still recording?
Yeah, there's a lot of dead air in here. Just me extra recording.
Yeah, you know what? Cool. I'm actually going to delete the extra right after it depends, so that way I have
smart move. Smart move, Nicholas. All right, let's export that to the thing that he needs. How is this 207? 207 episodes later.
Oh shoot! Did I really just label it M3P?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
I did. I labeled the episode M3P and not 207. How did we do 270 of these already?
I don't know.
It's crazy. I feel like we're already going to have to celebrate episode 300.
Thank goodness. Let's go.
What do you want to do for 300?
I don't know. We're going to do it on the flippin' moon. All right.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to start our own crypto meme currency.
We'll be sitting there with Dogecoin and GameStop and AMC and BlackBerry and Elon Musk. Will just be sitting there on the moon.
HFC coin. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, we should start our own crypto for episode 300. Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
It'll be worth something like 0.000000001 cents to start with. That'll be fun. Yeah.
We can just make NFTs for Human Factors Cast.
Honestly, I thought about making the logo an NFT.
Just do it. Yes, I will get that NFT. How's that?
I was thinking about it because I was like, I don't know what this is all about. But
is that not a wild concept or what?
Yeah, it's really weird, right? Like, I talked about this in one of my office hours here, but the concept of NFTs is basically owning something digitally.
Yep. It's like having weapon skins.
And I mean, like, it's a cool concept if you think about sort of the verification behind it. And you think about like an NFT in a video game, right? Like you have a certain weapon or whatever that you've paid for in one video game. And if that other video game allows it, you could, since you own it, you could take it to another video game and it could start creating this cross collaboration virtual environment across video games that could be kind of cool to see. You take your character from one video game with all the stuff that you own and port it into another. And the adventure continues, right? It could be kind of cool. But the thing I'm not down with is the environmental cost and like the it's just weird, man. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it is very, very strange. And there's a bunch of people that are very behind it that I like a lot and, pay attention to what they do when it comes to investing and stuff like that. And then there's like the opposite spectrum of that, like musicians and artists that I love are making NFTs. And so it's just been a very interesting time to watch and try and learn a little bit about it. But yeah, I mean, the environmental cost is definitely a big deal that people didn't really consider at the beginning. But I don't know. It's a cool thing.
Really quick, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, NFTs are these things called non-fungible tokens. And they're basically a unit of data that are stored digitally on a blockchain. And if you don't know what a blockchain is, I can't explain that easily. But basically there's a verification process, right? That goes on to certify that some asset that you own is a one and only, right? Like it's the only thing out there. And this is what all the cryptocurrencies are based on is the blockchain.
Yep.
And these non-fungible tokens that Blake and I are talking about here can basically be anything. It could be like a photo, a video. Like Charlie Bit My Finger is now an NFT. They took it off YouTube and somebody owns that now. So
see, that's the stuff that I was worried about happening. Just random nonsense like that.
Yeah. Audio, other types of digital files. So like if we wanted to, we could offer all of our shows as an NFT. And
they should be NFTs.
If somebody doesn't like it, they can purchase our NFT and rip it from the internet and it's gone forever.
Gone forever. That's not...
Although it's like, it's weird because it's like if somebody owns an episode, I still have the digital file on my computer. Like,
yeah. Do they really own it?
Yeah. It's like, what about like, I don't know, like a song. If somebody owns a song, I can still play the song. Like, I just don't get the purpose behind it yet. I don't think we've fully caught up to what the intended use behind it is. I think it is those like unique items in a game, right? Like, let's say there's 500 of some weapon or whatever that only 500 people in the world can get. And you buy it. You could go back and sell it to somebody. But if you're in at the ground floor, you have it and you could transfer it to anything. And it makes virtual environment economies part of a real economy, which is also feeling icky too. Like no in-game auction house. It's actually tied to real world money, and some people won't be able to get it because they can't afford it. Anyway, it feels both icky and exciting at the same time. And I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know about it either, because it was one of those things that I was first introduced to it through the drummer from Periphery. He like was doing a bunch of NFTs, and I had no idea what in the world even it was. And so he linked a bunch of articles and stuff like that, and it was kind of crazy because what he was doing was he was basically NFTing specific licks that he had recorded. And he would like he had advertised them and all that kind of stuff. Smart guy from the business perspective, but I was just like, I can just clip this right now, and I basically have all of the NFT. And I know there's existing video from the place that you went and shot this and paid people to do this. So like it exists somewhere else. So the logic of it being, a one and only, I don't buy it in some instances.
Well, it's like, I get it if it's created for the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
Like let's say I create an NFT logo for the show. I don't release that publicly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I release it with some DRM on it. Like, I don't know how you DRM a photo.
What is a DRM?
Digital rights management.
There it is.
I think that's ultimately what this NFT is trying to get at, right? Like this is trying to get at making sure that no one uses your stuff without permission or whatever. I don't know. That's
kind of sensible.
Yeah, I get it. It just is so counterintuitive to what the internet is. The internet is for sharing information, and it's like now you want to take that and have everybody stake a claim on something on the internet that's already out there. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it is almost reversing what the internet kind of is. I guess it's all very strange, and it does teeter that line that you've like really kind of made good eloquent points about how it's doing it, but it does teeter the line between like it's awesome because it's technology and it's something different and weird, but also there's like a cost to it that's not really being assessed. So I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to make any decisions about it because I understand so little about crypto and blockchain. And when I kind of discovered what NFTs were, I was like, I don't really know if I want any of those at the moment, or why I would want to do it.
Like I said, the only instance in which I can see this as being valuable is in the instance where you have a digital environment and you have a digital item, right? Like I'm thinking I have the staff of something, or like let's say Han Solo's blaster is in the next Star Wars game and you buy it as an NFT and there's only one. No one else can have it. It's weird because you need to have some sort, like, I guess hackers could get it if they had the files. But if you only release the files to the person who owns the NFT, then it's like it has to exist in the game to have the game recognize that the file is there.
So the file's got to be somewhere.
Right.
Accessible.
So I guess only in online games, right? So now we're talking about a certain subset of games, only online games. And so the file is available in a server somewhere, but you actually own that file. And so you're the only one that can use it. And I think that's the only instance in where it works for me is where you have a truly exclusive item. Like no one else could use that unless they have that NFT and it's built into the code of the virtual environment. And I don't know. I feel like I'm going off on a weird tangent, and I know it's hard to understand and kind of parse, but like,
yeah, I mean, it is a lot to try and think about, but you're explaining it pretty well. I mean, the fact is it's what's really the utility in some places, and in a place like where in video games where it should make sense, it's even a little bit hard and muddy to think about.
Yeah.
Because I could see the total thing of like it transferring across like a bunch of different games you play, but the reality then becomes you could be eliminating an entire audience by having to do it online. Like some people just don't play games online.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird world, the whole non-fungible tokens. I'm glad we found that to talk about because
yeah, it's interesting.
That killed about 10 minutes, right? I don't know. I have no questions. What can we do?
Questionless. Yeah, I know, because we've done the things. So
yeah, we've done the thing. Actually, I could show and tell. I could show and tell them.
Yeah, dude, show and tell us.
Hang on.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said there were surprises on the show for me, and I don't know if I just missed them.
Oh, they were these. Yeah, that was
rad. That was so nice.
Isn't that cool?
I didn't have to like worry if I was going to accidentally say something at the wrong time or any of that.
Yeah, I built them in for buffer, and this one is bad, and I need a better one.
It came from.
It came from the internet.
It's bad. I don't know. I threw that one together today because I realized. I took the Human Factors news one from the one that we had before, and I like it. I think it's fine. I just doubled it up and did a little something to it. And then this one is a little weird because I'm like, I don't know what to put for it. We talked a little bit about the video production side of things, about what that might look like with the scrolling bars.
Yeah,
and, I don't know if you want to take a stab at it.
Yeah, I could, because I had to re-up my Adobe subscription just a couple days ago, so I might as well, make it worth it.
Make it useful. How's video production going?
It's fantastic.
Yeah?
It's fine.
Cool. How's the It Came From stuff going? We have the playlist going?
It's going. I mean, the playlist is together, but other than that, I mean, it's the same old, just cutting stuff up. I guess I could go. No, I have to wait until we're done to grab the Twitch join.
Yeah. You could do last week's.
I could, yeah.
Yeah, that one's. Those are good questions too. I had to remember what we did, but I remember them being good questions.
Sick.
Speaking of questions, I gotta put these. Oh right, I was gonna show and tell. Hang on. I feel like I just totally left everybody hanging.
It's all good.
Give me one sec, folks. I am going to. I am gonna get this thing good to go. Let's see here. All right. So let's get the screen share going. If I did not just turn off my... No, I'm good. Okay. So I took a little different approach this week. You'll notice there's something that's not there typically. I want you to see if you can identify for me, Blake, what that is. Deal?
Yeah, deal.
Okay. So here it is for this week. This is the artwork for the podcast feed. Here is the YouTube thumbnail that everyone who's watching right now should be able to see somewhere. If it wants to load, there it is. Something is here that wasn't there before.
You realize that I'm just looking at you, right?
Oh, you are just looking at me because I'm not sharing my damn screen. So hang on. Here you go. Here's the podcast artwork. Here's the artwork. Yeah, there you go. So something is there that was not there, or that I haven't been able to do, I guess. That's more accurate. Something is here that I haven't been able to do in Google Slides, which is what we use to generate these. Something is here that has not been here before. Can you tell what it is?
That you're able to blend the images?
The fade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
It is nice. Did you do it all in slides?
No.
Well, of course
what
not.
I used for that?
Makes more sense. What'd you do?
PowerPoint,
of course.
Yeah.
PowerPoint, I swear, it's got so many wacky tools in it that just blow my mind every time, because there's more design that I can do in PowerPoint now and more photo editing that I can do.
Yeah.
Then I'm more proficient at that than I am in Figma. And that's like my primary design tool that I teach. So it makes me laugh.
It is kind of mind-blowing how much PowerPoint has in it, right? Like,
I love it. I think it's one of the best
great
things on the planet.
You know what though? Here's what we're gonna do on this post show. We're going to try to make sure my mouse works. Because that
you're gonna blow on it again.
Thank you for giving me permission, because I feel really awkward just doing it.
Oh my god,
here we
That's
go.
a funny one.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little exploration in Google Slides here. And you know what? We'll just go ahead and full screen this thing.
Do it.
And I'm just gonna, decrease the size of that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look for format options. We're gonna see if we can get the blend here. Adjustments.
Blending Goog.
Transparency. So I guess we could do something like, no, that doesn't quite work for me. There's a recolor option. I don't know if anyone's watching in chat.
Option.
If anyone's watching and knows how to do this, let me know, because this is, let's see, format, borders and lines, maybe border decorations, maybe a round cap. I don't know. Like, is that what I'm looking for?
No, you're almost looking for like, well, I don't know how you would even do transparency on just one part of an image.
Yeah.
That's like kind of what you're looking for.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know what I'm looking for. It's like it's an effect. It's not reflection. Although, wait, hang on. Can I have negative distance on the reflection and higher transparency? Because that might work.
There it is.
No, it's not quite what I'm looking for.
Can you tell it where to put it in the image?
No.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. The only thing I could think of is are you able to do like gradients?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible, honestly.
Probably not. I mean, although there's a lot of like odd tools in this slide thing, I just don't think it's got all of these things that you would see in PowerPoint. Which is totally fine, because it's like going way beyond the scope of what either one of those things are meant to do.
I'm going to Google faded border or faded gradients or something with transparency in Google Slides. I think there's how do you create gradients with transparency? So that's not quite what I'm looking for. Pictures. I need pictures in there. Add a background fade and cool borders to Google. See, because if I can figure out how to do this in Google, it'll really up our our thumbnail game, right? Like,
yes, it will.
Hold on. Look at this. What if I did this? And I did like I don't know, one of oh, hold on. We might have something here. What if I did one of those? Right. So you can, I found out this the other day. You can actually crop this. You can crop things in certain shapes, right? So like do that.
Oh yeah.
And actually, this is it. Never mind. I'm not going to bring that up. Hold on. Image editing hacks, cropping and masking. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to look.
But would you like to mask and crop?
I would love to crop a mask. Image call out. No, I don't like that. Where's image overlay? I'm looking at this article right now to see where the
flip.
I don't think it works.
You don't think it's a thing?
Oh. Hold on. Here we go. We're gonna do that. It's back to normal, right? Adjustments. Transparency. Okay. We getting somewhere now.
Oh man. This is a Humanary sketch.
I feel like we're close here. Right? If we hang on, you know what I need to do? I just need to duplicate this slide so that way I can mess around with it. So we'll go ahead and delete that. I feel like that is a little dark, but if I do like a 10% transparency or something, I don't know. And then I have the clock image too somewhere. Oh, maybe I should have brought that up too. Oh, wait. Mouse, why are you doing this to me? Oh, yeah. Anyway, I have a mouse coming next week. So
nice.
Yeah.
Are you getting another Naga? I was going to stop you in the middle of the show and ask you about that because I always wanted one of those mice for video editing because I thought it would be fast. Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the Naga. It is a fantastic piece of hardware.
Nice.
So I guess I could do something like that and then duplicate this image and then reduce the transparency, right? By cropping it like
an eagle. Maybe
like a reduced transparency, and then I'll crop the image. Yeah, I love my Naga. And it's I'm really sad that that it's busted because I love it. And I don't remember exactly what I got. It's a little different.
Oh, you didn't replace it with the same thing?
No, because this one's, like I said, this one's like 10 years old. I think I got it in 2010.
That's a pretty damn long life for a mouse.
Yeah. Let me see what I actually got, because now you have me curious as well what I ordered. I don't love the look of this. This is dumb, right?
Yes, that doesn't go. Can you only do one side? Like if you pull that... No, I don't think you can. Damn it.
So what I could do, is like... I could make it a better crop. I could do I could do this. Or wait, hang on. Let me just undo a couple times here. What I could do is something like this. But even then, it's like it goes to this weird transition. There's no good way to do it outside of PowerPoint.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a nice fade that you can do simply. Well, damn, but you've explored.
So I got another Naga, and there's different models of Naga now. There's like the Naga Pro, the Naga Trinity, and the Naga X.
Ooh,
X. So I'll go over the details of these, and actually, let me kill the screen share since I can't get this working. And okay, so looking at the Naga Pro is like $150.
Yes, it is.
I didn't
Looking at it now.
I didn't need something that pricey. I feel like that is like super intense. It comes with these multiple faceplates. So I have the 12 buttons, but this one comes with a 6 and a 2 button variant. And I didn't need all that.
Yeah.
I like my 12. And it looks like the Trinity. So it looks like it's the DPI on the is the difference, right? So
really?
The Pro is 20,000. The Trinity is 16,000. It also comes with a 6 button, but the 6 button layout is different. And then you have the Naga X, which is just the 12 buttons. It's fixed, and it has 18K for a DPI. So I picked kind of the best of the both worlds between the Naga Trinity and the Naga Pro. Didn't need something super expensive. The Trinity is 75 right now. Retails for 100, and then the I paid like 50 for the X. So it's I feel like I got a good deal on that.
I think so. Yeah.
So I was like $50 for a new mouse that does the same thing I'm working with now, and it has the chromas built in, so you could do all the fun color customization with it. Like right now, I just have mine on rainbow. My
your mouse.
I have the Black Widow. So my mouse is old enough to where it only has the Razor Blue. And yeah, old, right? Old.
Absolutely. Well, that's cool, man. At least you're able to like figure it out and like get something new.
Yeah. Is the Pro wireless? The Pro might be wireless too. I didn't want something wireless because that means I have to charge it or replace the batteries. I don't like that.
Not a fan?
No, not a fan at all. And so, I think the X was a good solution for me. Oh, hey, speaking of links to things, I think I got the right link. Can you just verify that I got the link to that Google AI thing for you?
Yeah, let me make sure that I grab it too, just in case you didn't.
Okay.
All right.
I'm looking at the show notes here.
Where are you at? In the bottom.
In the bottom. Yeah, is that it? The People AI guidebook?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
It. Okay, cool. I need to do those. Let me do this. So right now I'm putting together the show notes. That's actually kind of or not show notes. What am I? Description.
Description?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this mouse is gonna kill me, dude. I hate this thing so much when it messes up. I love it, but I hate it. Oh, and also, here's something I'm looking forward to. So this mouse that I have is so old that it's incompatible with the latest software. So I have to use the older software for my mouse and the newer software with my new keyboard. So it's two different ecosystems. I hate it. So I'm excited.
That's interesting. What do you actually use the software that comes with them for?
To program the buttons, to program the lighting effects.
Programming makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. The first one here is from Left Noob Enthusiast.
Thanks. Good old Left Noob.
Whoa. Hang on. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I know. I'm hearing myself.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I have a monitor up on my phone to make sure that like there's no issues, with Twitch, right? I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, I know. Can't believe it's not butter, but things happen.
Yeah. So yeah, on Twitch, like what happened was the office hours went for 7 minutes, and then it went for 40 something odd minutes more. But it stopped at 7 minutes visually. So it was just the same image for 47 minutes.
What?
I don't know what happened. And it was through Restream. So I'm really hoping that like we're not going to have issues with it later. or if it was just like some weird glitch. But yeah, it's not great.
No, that's not great. Did you? Okay, maybe you didn't see this. I thought it freaked me out, and I thought I totally lost the video. So I don't know if it's on Restream or if it's on Twitch's side. I can't remember. But something happened when Elise and I did the stream, and there was like a few minutes of dead video where it's got this crazy gradient and just a random emoji in it. And I'm looking there, I'm watching the videos, I'm editing it. I'm like, oh no, what happened in the beginning of this video? And I guess it's just what Restream or Twitch does if it has an issue connecting.
Yeah.
But it was the funniest thing retrospectively because I'm sitting there freaking out. Like I'm not going to have any video to edit that week or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I have some good news for you, Blake. Restream, if you log in with our account, you can actually download the video once it's done.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's very nice. If there's any issues with the, I usually get my video from Twitch or YouTube or something, but if there's any issues with it, you can certainly download it from Restream. Again, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us through this post show. I know we've been on a wild ride talking about mice and NFTs and showing off some Google Slides action, trying to figure things out.
That was the best adventure ever.
I know it's a little weird, and thank you. Really appreciate all of you hanging out with us. And if anyone has any questions, I guess we're at a last call for questions. We've got 5 minutes left, so
let us know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I am still working on the show notes. If anyone's wondering what I'm doing over here, I keep saying show notes. It's the show description. It's the thing that shows up in. It's the thing that shows up when you look at the episode on our website, or when you look at an episode in a podcatcher, something or other. And what's this last person's name? It was why wait so overpriced?
So overpriced, yeah. Weights are just very expensive.
Weight so overpriced.
Oh, I could have talked about the cannonballs. Dang it!
What cannonballs?
I guess I can grab one real quick. Hold on. Is this like one more thing for next week? Probably not, because I'll forget about it.
Why don't you write it down?
Yeah, it's these guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like. So
here, talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah,
that can be one more thing. And if you don't want to talk about it, then we can push it for another thing.
Yeah, because God knows I'll trip over it as I come back into my office. So I should remember.
I will. I'll write that down. I don't know if you noticed this, Blake, but in the show notes, I usually just write a bunch of stuff down.
Yeah, that stuff.
Cannonball. And I usually keep it from week to week.
Excellent.
And just delete it. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up here, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the show. I think it was a great show. I really liked that. That was fun. And for talking with Blake and I in this post-show craziness. It was a good time.
Yeah, thank you for hanging for all that silliness. That was good. I learned more about NFTs than I did on my own, so that was fun for me.
Excellent. I'm so happy for you and everyone who may have learned something about NFTs. All right. Well, we don't have a sign off for this post show, so see you next week. Blake, are you doing office hours?
This Sunday I will not be. I will not be even near a computer.
Excellent. Good for you. I'm so happy for you. I will be doing office hours on Tuesday, like I said, at 1 p.m. Join us there. We'll get back to some semblance of normal office hours soon. But yeah, bye everyone.